Am I the asshole for laughing at my grandpa after he told me to cover up my feet? So this one is fairly recent and he's still mad at me, so I decided to voice this story in hopes of getting corrected if I'm wrong or SMTH. So this morning my grandparents informed me that some people would be coming to set up a new bed, frame, etc. Since I wasn't needed, I just sat down on the sofa and minded my business. I asked if I should help, but I wasn't needed. For context, I was wearing a normal t-shirt and some leggings. But no socks. This will be important later. However, during the visit my grandfather kept furiously pointing upstairs. Apparently he didn't want to tell me what I needed to do but expected me to magically know. After looking at everyone wearing masks, I assumed he wanted me to wear one. I was pretty far away from everyone, so I didn't thought it was necessary. So after I got up and put it on, he seemed even more furious. I kept asking him what he wanted me to do, but he refused to speak. After the guy and the girl finished building the new bed and left, we sat down and talked a bit about the new bed, what happened, etc. That's when I mentioned being confused at what he wanted me to do. And he promptly told me that it was vulgar for me to display my feet the way I did. Faced with the absurdity of the situation, I laughed, imagining how the two builders would say, "OMG, look at how hot this girl is because of her feet." Tears of joy. My grandmother then joined in, laughing with me about my seductive feet with the power to make any man horny. My grandfather, however, exploded, saying that it was indecent, disrespectful to be at home without socks in front of strange men. He's currently still mad at me for showing off my glorious feet in front of strangers. So am I the asshole for laughing at my grandpa for covering up my indecent feet? Update. Why is everyone suggesting my grandfather has a foot fetish, loudly crying? If that's true, I'll start wearing socks forever, OMG. Update 2. Why are there significant other many suggestions of you telling to make an OnlyFans account for my feet pics? OMG. Update 3. Out of sheer curiosity, should I open up an OnlyFans account? Last update. So I have decided against doing one. Since I don't really know my ways around cybersecurity and everything. But to answer a few general questions. 1. My entire family is from Germany and we have a pretty lax view on how to dress, mostly just dressing appropriately. 2. My family isn't religious, with me being atheist and my GM being agnostic, for example. 3. Yes, my dad has that fetish. I stumbled on his Insta and he was pretty open about it. Hope you had a nice laugh about this situation, XD. Now you know your grandpa has a foot fetish. Not the asshole, and Gramps probably has a foot fetish. This is one of the worst ways to learn that your grandfather has a foot fetish. Not the asshole. I have to admit I laughed imagining his face, and when you decided to put a mask on rather than socks. The fact your grandmother was also thoroughly amused is brilliant too. Not the asshole. Sounds like grandpa has a foot fetish and is projecting all over the place. Your grandfather sounds ridiculous. Not the asshole. Info. How old are you? Am I the asshole for describing my wife as fat to our young children? My wife, 41, and myself, 44M. Both work in education and believe in properly explaining things to our children, 4F, 5M. We have agreed to never use because I said so reasoning with them. My wife is unfortunately around 3 stone overweight. Her weight has crept up gradually since having the kids, and I don't think she was even aware of this gain until I gently raised the subject with her last year. She agreed she needs to remedy this. Since then we have worked together to shift the excess weight, and I'm proud to say she's lost around 10 pounds. But she still has a lot of work to do to reach her target weight. She is best at sticking to her diet if there is no temptation around, so for Easter I got her flowers instead of an egg. She seemed happy with this. Then yesterday my children were arguing over a missing Easter egg, each accusing the other of eating it. I knew instantly what had happened. I asked my wife to tell the children where the egg, which was quite big, had really gone, and she admitted she had eaten it. My son, whose egg it was very upset and confused and asked his mom why she had eaten it. My wife replied that she would replace it, which would be impossible, as it's now after Easter. I pointed out that she had not answered the question our son had asked. He was very upset and he kept asking why she had stolen his egg. I felt it was unfair she hadn't properly answered this, as he was getting more distressed. My wife completely threw me under the bus here and said, because I wanted chocolate but daddy didn't get me an egg. They already know the importance of healthy eating, so I explained that mummy was not wanting to eat too much sugar. Several, but why? Questions down the line I finally said, "Because mummy is fat and needs to work on this by not eating sweeties." I used the word fat because my sister is fat and always says it is not a shameful thing and she prefers to be described this way. She says to not use the word implies there is something wrong with being fat. I probably was an asshole to presume my wife would feel the same way about this term, and I wonder if I should have said, overweight, instead? My wife hasn't spoken to me since this and has seemed very upset. I feel terrible for upsetting her. But I think she was wrong to have taken our little boy's Easter egg without asking. And wrong to have blamed me for her actions. I regret upsetting her and possibly using the wrong terminology, but I had run out of ways to explain to the children why I hadn't bought my wife an egg. I wouldn't have had to explain why I hadn't bought an egg, if she hadn't told them this fact. Or indeed if she hadn't eaten the egg to begin with. But I do feel I might be an asshole for upsetting my wife. Edit. My wife said she didn't want anything for Easter. I felt uncomfortable with this and so got her flowers. I don't care about appearance. She has a family history of heart disease, including her older brother who died of a cardiac arrest in his 40s. I worry every day about her health. She watched our 5-year-old accuse his little sister, who was crying, of stealing the egg, without admitting she had taken it. Only when I asked outright her did she own up. I feel that's really unfair to both kids, which is why I asked. Edit 2. Please read my comment labeled, "Response to comments" in the top thread before replying. Thanks. I stopped reading. No way this is real. No one is this big of an asshole. But just in case, holy fuck op. I don't even know where to start. You are the asshole. A massive, massive asshole face with symbols on mouth. ETA for those who keep commenting about how I should have kept reading. Op made a shit ton of edits to his post after my comment. I still stand by him being an asshole here, which was the question. She told your son the truth. She told him she would replace it. The thing missing is an apology, not self-degrading. You did not want to let it go. You wanted to punish her by humiliation and did that. And now you wonder that she is not talking to you? She ate the egg because she craved it. Thin people have cravings too. So you straight up told your son a lie. You are the asshole. Edit. With all you edits and stuff. Why do you even ask here if you change the story and justify and whatever? In my country it's definitely not impossible to get Easter chocolate after Easter. I'm pretty sure if no shop in your era has it, Amazon does. Except that a lot of people think you messed up. And not because we don't understand. Eating a chocolate egg for Easter will not ruin one's diet. Strict dieting where you cut out every indulgence will end in failure. Because deprivation makes us want things more, hence your wife doing something she normally wouldn't by stealing the kids' chocolate. I'm sure your wife was already ashamed of herself for failing at the diet. And then it turned into an interrogation in front of the kids where she was shamed for failing and also called fat. I don't think fat is necessarily wrong to say, but how it was done was not at all kind. I don't think she was even aware of this gain until I gently raised the subject with her last year. I assure you that she was aware of it. Not only have you, as is so often the case, denigrated a woman's body for being less than perfect by current beauty standards, but you have also shamed her in front of the children she bore for you. You owe her a big apology. You are the asshole. Keep calling your wife fat and wonder why your kids grow up to have eating disorders. You are the asshole. You could have said, "Mom wants to lose weight, that's why she didn't want any chocolate for Easter, but I guess she couldn't resist temptation when she saw yours lying around. Maybe we can just keep our chocolate in our own rooms for now, to help her?" That would have been a lot more supportive and respectful than insulting your wife in front of your children. They learn their behavior from you if you show them this is an okay way to treat other people. Be prepared for the call from school where they bullied a fat classmate. Am I the asshole for choosing my sister over my GFTW postpartum depression? So I, 22 male, have a older sister, 30 female sister, who always took care of me when our mom had to work at night. Which looking back on as I got older she sacrificed her own social life, which probably wasn't easy as a teenager. I've been dating my girlfriend, 21 female, for 6 months now. It's been going good and my sister and her seem to get along fine. My sister lives 3 hours away from me and 2 weeks ago had a baby girl. Her husband had to leave a couple days after the baby was born because he's in the military. Well, last night around 8 p.m. my sister called me crying, talking about how she's not a good mom, and she's scared something is going to happen to her daughter, and she's just been sad, and just really distressed. I asked why she's just now saying something and she said she didn't want to bother anyone asking for help. I told her I'll come over to help. My girlfriend and I were watching a movie. She doesn't permanently stay at my place, but she's there at least 4 times a week. I apologized and told her I have to help out my sister. She got upset and said, "You're really just leaving me like this," and I tried explaining that this is an emergency, but she was still mad when I left. My phone started blowing up with texts, so I turned it off until early this morning. And seen that my girlfriend and a couple of her friends were texting me saying I'm asshole and a bad boyfriend, and my sister could have waited until the morning. But I'm pretty sure she has PPD and it can be pretty serious. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole, and your girlfriend needs to be your ex-girlfriend. There's no way I'd stay with someone who acted like that. Absolutely not the asshole. Your girlfriend needs to learn some empathy and compassion. I hope that you were able to help your sister. Not the asshole. It's also incredibly unhealthy she decided to have friends text you about the situation that is none of their business. Save yourself the future hassle and get rid of her. NTA. Your sister needed help and support, and all you were doing was watching a movie. A couple in a good relationship would understand and ask you how your sister was doing in the morning. Not the asshole. GF is being pretty awful for 6 months in. I'd reconsider the whole girlfriend thing honestly. Keep doing what you're doing. Not the asshole. What the hell? Your sister has a 2-week-old baby and is alone. That is a scary feeling, especially if she's a new mom. You might want to remind your girlfriend you were just watching a movie. The fact that she is in such a snit and none of her friends have called her out on acting so selfishly and immaturely is not a good sign. I would hope if I had ever been so callous about this situation my friends would pout that out rather than harassing my boyfriend. Am I the asshole for not siding with sill? Alright, so this just happened yesterday and I'm using a throwaway because my sill uses Reddit and I don't want this to become a bigger issue. I'm losing sleep over this. So I'm 24 female, currently engaged to my fiancé Mark, 32M. I genuinely love this man, but honestly this entire situation is making me see him and his family in another light. So he co-parents with his ex Amanda, 29 female, to raise their 4-year-old daughter Lily. She's an absolute angel and I adore her so much. I get along great with her mother and I'm friendly with her family as well. So yesterday my mill had a family dinner and that's where we broke the news to everyone we were getting married. Everything was going great and we were being congratulated by everyone. Then my sill, 35 female, decided to make a comment about how Lily will finally have a proper family. Everyone got quiet and Amanda asked her what she meant by that. Sill starts getting snarky and saying that I'll be Lily's new and better mother. I immediately stepped in and said I'm not going to be replacing Amanda because she's Lily's mother and I'm never gonna try to take that away from Amanda and I'd just be a stepmom. Before I can go further, Mark pulled me away and told me to quiet down. Mill asked Amanda to leave so she took Lily and left. After that Sill started to yell at me saying how I should be on her side. I said my goodbyes and waited for Mark in the car. Now he's mad at me and saying that I don't want to be Lily's mother and that I should have known my place. I left last night and I'm staying at my father's place because I'm just so upset. IDK, what to do? Should I have just kept quiet? Hey, it's up to you, but someone who thinks women are interchangeable mothers and says you should know your place sounds like a nightmare as a partner. I'd keep the friendship with Amanda and lose the fiancé. Not the asshole. Now you understand why Amanda left. Not the asshole. I can't even imagine how Amanda must have felt. You're not the asshole, but I think you should reconsider your relationship. You should know your place. WTF, is that nonsense? No. Just no. You did exactly the right thing, and honestly? Such a huge red flag from both your fiancé and also future sill. I hate to say this, but please look at your relationship and see if there have been other red flags. The know your place thing and also not pointing out that your sill was both rude and wrong are huge red flags. Be safe. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, and I'm kind of wondering, is that his plan? Marry you and then file for full custody? Not the asshole, but everyone else certainly is. WTAF, I feel so bad for Amanda, and I can see why she left. I can't believe Sill would have the nerve to say that at all, nevertheless in front of her. Good for you on standing up for her, and your soon-to-be husband is a piece of work. Whether he meant what he said, or if he just got caught up trying to be peacekeeper, that's majorly fucked up. Know your place? I would have lost my shit.